First, the headlines for this Sunday morning, the 27th of November, 2016. Cuba is mourning its revolutionary leader, Fidel Castro. Flags are flying at half-mast as the nation marks 9 days of official mourning. We have two reports, beginning with our Manuel Bojorquez in Havana.
The usually vibrant streets and neighborhoods of Cuba's capital are decidedly quiet this morning. We drove along the city's historic waterfront last night, and while it's usually bustling, the crowds were small for a Saturday night in Havana. While there has been no official confirmation, Fidel Castro's remains were said to have been cremated according to his wishes. Yesterday afternoon at his alma mater, Havana University, students held a remembrance for their leader. It was quite a different scene in Miami's Little Havana, where hundreds celebrated the death of a man viewed as a ruthless dictator. Some of those celebrating were exiles of the Castro regime. Here on the island nation, mourners will have a first opportunity to publicly pay their respects starting tomorrow, with the largest gathering expected on Tuesday at Havana's Revolution Square, the scene of some of Castro's most fiery and important speeches. His remains will then be taken down a symbolic route from Havana to Santiago, Cuba, essentially retracing in reverse the victory march he took with the Revolutionary Army in 1959. His funeral will be held next Sunday in Santiago, known as the cradle of Castro's revolution. For Sunday Morning, I'm Manuel Bojorquez in Havana, Cuba.
This is Jonathan Vigliotti in London. Commemorating a dictator who's been called both a hero and executioner is complex. And around the world, Fidel Castro's mixed legacy was either condemned or celebrated. Glowing tributes came from predictable corners. In Russia, President Vladimir Putin called Castro a symbol of an era. The country's had close ties with Cuba dating back to the revolution. Chinese President Xi Jinping said his people have lost a close comrade. In Mexico, President Enrique Peña Nieto tweeted that Castro promoted respect and dialogue. And in South Africa, the Nelson Mandela Foundation remembered Castro's unwavering support of the nation's anti-apartheid movement. Cubans outside the embassy in Madrid, some who sought political asylum in Spain, had a more sobering analysis. Fidel is an assassin, they shouted in Spanish, a reference to Castro's firing squads that targeted dissenters. French President François Hollande was more measured, saying Castro represented both Cuba's hope and disillusionment. And Pope Francis, who met with Fidel Castro last year, kept his condolences simple. He told Castro's brother and Cuba's current president, Raul, he was grieving the sad news. For Sunday Morning, I'm Jonathan Vigliotti in London.
In a statement, President Obama did not praise Castro, but he did offer sympathy to his family and declared now is the time to extend a hand of friendship to the Cuban people. But President-elect Donald Trump denounced Castro as, quote, a brutal dictator.